Welcome to the Health Awareness Podcast, your reliable companion for evidence-based health knowledge and wellness guide. Our goal is to keep you informed, supported, and empowered on your journey to better health. For links, updates, and additional resources, please check the description.
Welcome back to the Health Awareness Podcast, everyone. I'm Jenny.
And I'm Mark. We're so glad you could join us today for what I think is a really crucial topic that touches almost everyone's health: cholesterol.
Absolutely, Mark. It's one of those words we hear a lot: high cholesterol, good cholesterol, bad cholesterol. But sometimes it feels a bit confusing, can't it? Like a medical mystery shrouded in scientific terms.
It really can, and that confusion can sometimes lead to us not taking it as seriously as we should, or even feeling overwhelmed. But the truth is, understanding cholesterol is incredibly important for maintaining a healthy heart, which is, kind of vital for everything else.
Yeah. So today, we're going to demystify it. We're going to break down cholesterol into simple, easy-to-understand terms. We'll talk about what it actually is, the difference between the good and bad kinds, what causes it to go awry, and most importantly, how you can naturally control it.
That's right. Our goal is to empower you with clear, actionable information so you can make informed choices for your heart health. No more confusing jargon, just practical insights. So let's dive right in, shall we, Jenny?
Let's do it. Segment 1, what cholesterol really is. Mark, when people hear cholesterol, they often think bad thing. But it's not entirely bad, is it?
No, not at all, Jenny. That's one of the biggest myths we need to bust right away. Cholesterol isn't inherently evil. In fact, it's a waxy, fat-like substance that your body absolutely needs to function. Think of it like a vital building block.
A building block? What does it help build?
Well, your body uses cholesterol to make hormones like estrogen and testosterone and vitamin D. It's also crucial for building healthy cells. Every single cell in your body needs it to keep its structure intact. Without it, our bodies just wouldn't work properly.
Yeah, so it's essential. That's a huge takeaway already. And where does this essential substance come from?
Primarily, your liver produces all the cholesterol you need. Your body is actually pretty good at regulating itself. But we also get cholesterol from certain foods we eat, things like animal products, meat, poultry, and dairy. It's the balance of these two sources that can sometimes get out of whack.
Okay, so our body makes it, and we get some from food. But if our body makes enough, why do we even need it from food? Or is it that too much from food just tips the scales?
Exactly. Your liver is doing a great job on its own. It's when we consistently introduce a lot of dietary cholesterol, especially alongside saturated and trans fats, that the liver sometimes struggles to keep up, or just starts producing more in response, leading to higher levels overall. It's not the cholesterol itself in food that's the only problem, but how it interacts with our body's own production and metabolism.
That makes so much sense. So the myth is that all cholesterol is bad. The reality is our bodies need it, but it's about balance and where it comes from. Now, let's move on to the infamous good versus bad cholesterol in segment 2. This is where it gets really interesting, and often confusing.
You bet. It's time to clear this up once and for all. When we talk about good and bad cholesterol, we're actually talking about the different types of lipoproteins that carry cholesterol through your blood. Think of them as delivery trucks.
Okay, delivery trucks. I like that analogy.
For nutshoot, so first we have HDL. That stands for high-density lipoprotein. We often call this the good cholesterol, and here's why. Imagine HDL is like a cleanup crew, a recycling truck. It travels through your bloodstream, picks up excess cholesterol, especially the stuff that's building up in your arteries, and takes it back to the liver to be processed and removed from your body.
So HDL is the cleaner, sweeping up the mess and taking it out of the system. That's why having higher levels of HDL is protective for your heart?
Exactly. It's actively working to prevent buildup and keep your arteries clear. The more HDL you have, the better job your body can do at clearing away potential problems. Now, on the flip side, we have LDL, low-density lipoprotein. This is the bad cholesterol.
And using your analogy, what kind of delivery truck is LDL?
LDL is like a delivery truck that, instead of cleaning up, drops off cholesterol into your arteries. When you have too much LDL, it can start to build up on the walls of your arteries, forming sticky plaques. Think of it like rust building up inside a pipe, slowly narrowing the passageway.
Ah, so HDL is the cleaner and LDL is the blocker. That's a really clear way to put it. This plaque buildup is what can lead to serious heart problems down the road, right?
Precisely. That plaque narrows your arteries, making it harder for blood to flow through. And we'll talk more about the severe consequences of that later. So the goal is to have high HDL and low LDL.
Okay, so we've got the good, the bad, gone and gone. And then there are triglycerides. Where do they fit into this picture?
Triglycerides are another type of fat in your blood, and they're also important to monitor. Your body uses them for energy. When you eat, your body converts any calories it doesn't need to use right away into triglycerides and stores them in your fat cells. Then, later, hormones release triglycerides for energy between meals.
So they're like stored energy, but too much of a good thing, right?
Exactly. High levels of triglycerides, especially when combined with high LDL or low HDL, significantly increase your risk of heart disease. It's often linked to things like obesity, uncontrolled diabetes, excessive alcohol consumption, and a diet very high in sugars and refined carbs. So when your doctor does a lipid profile, they're looking at all three: HDL, LDL, and triglycerides.
That's super helpful, Mark. Cleaner, blocker, and stored energy. Got it. Now that we know what cholesterol is and the different types, let's dive into segment 3. What causes high cholesterol? Because it's not always just about eating fatty foods, is it?
No, it's definitely not that simple, Jenny. While diet plays a huge role, there are several factors that contribute. The biggest culprit, as you mentioned, is often a poor diet. Eating too many saturated fats found in red meat, full-fat dairy, and many processed foods and trans fats, often found in fried foods, baked goods, and some margarines, can significantly raise your LDL cholesterol.
So that greasy burger and fries combo might taste good, but it's doing your LDL no favors.
Precisely. Another major factor is a lack of physical activity. Regular exercise helps increase your HDL, that good cholesterol, and can actually lower your LDL and triglyceride levels. If you're largely sedentary, you're missing out on those benefits.
It's like your body needs that movement to keep everything flowing smoothly. And then there's genetics, which sometimes feels like the unfair card we're dealt.
Absolutely. Some people inherit genes that cause them to have naturally high cholesterol, even if they eat a very healthy diet and exercise regularly. This is called familial hypercholesterolemia, and it's why screening is so important, especially if high cholesterol runs in your family.
So even if you're doing everything right, genetics can still be a factor. What about other lifestyle choices?
Smoking is a huge one. It damages the walls of your blood vessels, making them more likely to accumulate fatty deposits. It also lowers your HDL, which is the last thing you want. And then there are certain medical conditions. Diabetes, for example, often lowers HDL and raises LDL and triglyceride levels. Obesity is another big one. Carrying excess weight tends to increase bad cholesterol and lower good cholesterol.
It really sounds like everything is connected, doesn't it? A domino effect. What about stress? Does that play a role?
Stress can definitely contribute indirectly. When you're stressed, your body releases hormones like cortisol. Over time, chronic stress can lead to inflammation and behaviors like emotional eating or reduced physical activity, which in turn can impact cholesterol levels. And finally, age. As we get older, our cholesterol levels naturally tend to rise. For men, this often starts around age 40, and for women, it often increases after menopause.
So many factors. It's not just one thing. It's diet, exercise, genetics, smoking, diabetes, obesity, stress, and even just getting older. That's why awareness is so critical. Which brings us to segment 4, signs and symptoms. Mark, what should people be looking out for?
Jenny, this is probably one of the most important points we'll make today. The vast majority of people with high cholesterol experience absolutely no symptoms. None. Zero. That's why it's often called a silent killer. You can feel perfectly fine, be going about your daily life, and have dangerously high cholesterol levels for years without knowing it.
That's terrifyingly important to understand. So you won't feel anything until it's already caused significant damage?
Exactly. The damage, that plaque buildup in your arteries, accumulates quietly. The symptoms only tend to appear when high cholesterol leads to more serious complications, like heart disease or stroke, and by then you're dealing with a much more urgent and severe health issue.
So what are those early warning signs from complications? What might people experience then?
Well, if the plaque buildup in your heart's arteries becomes significant, you might start experiencing chest pain or angina. This often feels like tightness, pressure, or a squeezing sensation in your chest, especially during physical activity or stress. It's your heart telling you it's not getting enough blood flow.
And what about in other parts of the body?
Another complication is peripheral artery disease, or PAD. This happens when arteries leading to your legs become narrowed by plaque. You might experience leg pain, cramping, or numbness, especially when walking or exercising, that goes away with rest. This is called claudication. It's a sign that your leg muscles aren't getting enough oxygen-rich blood.
Wow. And then the most severe, a stroke or heart attack. What would those warning signs look like?
For a heart attack, the signs can include severe chest pain, shortness of breath, pain radiating to your arm or jaw, and sweating. For a stroke, which happens when blood flow to part of your brain is interrupted, the warning signs are sudden weakness or numbness on one side of your body, difficulty speaking or understanding speech, confusion, problems with vision, or a sudden, severe headache. These are all medical emergencies.
It's so important to recognize those. But the main message is, don't wait for symptoms. The only way to truly know your cholesterol levels is to get them checked, which leads perfectly into segment 5, how cholesterol is diagnosed. So, Mark, How do doctors figure out what's going on with our cholesterol?
It's pretty straightforward, Jenny. It's done with a simple blood test called a lipid profile, or lipid panel. You typically need to fast for 9 to 12 hours before the test, meaning no food or drinks other than water, to get the most accurate results. This test measures those key numbers we talked about.
And what are those key numbers the test gives us?
It measures your total cholesterol, which is the sum of all cholesterol in your blood. Then it breaks it down into your LDL, your HDL, and your triglycerides. These are the 4 numbers your doctor will look at to assess your risk.
And what are the ideal ranges we should be aiming for? Or at least, what are the general guidelines for healthy numbers?
Good question. Generally speaking, for total cholesterol, you want it to be less than 200 milligrams per deciliter, or mg/dl. For LDL, the bad cholesterol, the lower the better, ideally less than 100 milligram DL. If you have a history of heart disease or other risk factors, your doctor might even aim for lower.
Yeah, so under 100 for LDL. Got it. And for HDL, the good, cleaner cholesterol?
For HDL, you want that number to be higher. Ideally, 60 milligram DL or above is considered protective. Anything below 40 milligram DL is generally considered a significant risk factor for heart disease. And finally, for triglycerides, you want them to be less than 150 milligram DL. Anything above 200 milligram DL is considered high and needs attention.
Those are really clear guidelines. So a simple blood test is all it takes to know where you stand. And if those numbers aren't ideal, what are the treatment options? Let's move to segment 6.
The good news is there's a lot you can do, and treatment usually starts with the most fundamental approach: lifestyle changes. This includes things like adopting a heart-healthy diet, getting regular exercise, losing weight if you're overweight, and quitting smoking. For many people, these changes alone can significantly improve their cholesterol numbers, especially if caught early.
So, lifestyle changes are always the first line of defense. But what if those aren't enough, or if someone's cholesterol is dangerously high? That's when medication comes into play, right?
Precisely. If lifestyle changes aren't sufficient, or if someone has a very high risk of heart disease, doctors might recommend medication. The most common type of medication for high cholesterol is called a statin. Statins work by blocking a substance your liver needs to make cholesterol, which in turn causes your liver to remove more cholesterol from your blood.
So, they essentially tell your liver to slow down its cholesterol production and clean up more. When does a doctor usually decide that medication is necessary?
It depends on several factors. Your doctor will look at your LDL levels, your overall risk of heart disease, based on age, family history, blood pressure, diabetes status, and how well lifestyle changes have worked. It's a very personalized decision. It's not just about one number, but your whole health picture.
And there are often fears around medication, especially statins, due to side effects. Can you shed some light on that, Mark?
That's a really important point, Jenny. While all medications have potential side effects, statins are generally very well tolerated. The most common side effects are muscle pain and digestive issues, which are usually mild. More serious side effects, though rare, can include liver damage or very severe muscle damage. The key is to have an open conversation with your doctor. They can discuss the benefits versus risks for you and monitor you closely if you start medication. For many, the benefits of preventing heart attack and stroke far outweigh the potential side effects.
It sounds like communication with your doctor is paramount. Now, for many of our listeners, the focus is often on natural ways to control cholesterol. So let's dedicate a good portion of our time to segment 7, natural ways to control cholesterol. What are those practical, actionable tips we can start implementing today?
This is where people can really take control, Jenny. Let's start with food. Certain foods are fantastic at helping to lower cholesterol. First up, oats and other whole grains. Things like oatmeal, oat bran, barley, and whole grain breads contain soluble fiber. This fiber acts like a sponge, binding to cholesterol in your digestive system and carrying it out of your body before it can be absorbed.
So, a bowl of oatmeal for breakfast isn't just tasty, it's actively helping your heart.
True. Next, beans and legumes. Lentils, kidney beans, chickpeas, they're also packed with soluble fiber. Incorporating these into soups, salads, or as a side dish can make a big difference. Then there are nuts, like almonds, walnuts, and pecans. They contain monounsaturated and polyunsaturated fats, which are heart-healthy fats that can lower LDL. Just remember, they're calorie-dense, so a small handful is usually enough.
Nuts is a healthy snack. I can do that. What about oils?
Olive oil is a superstar. Extra virgin olive oil, specifically, is loaded with monounsaturated fatty acids and antioxidants that can lower your LDL while leaving your HDL untouched. Use it for cooking, salad dressings, or even dipping bread instead of butter. And don't forget fatty fish like salmon, mackerel, and tuna. They're rich in omega-3 fatty acids, which can reduce triglycerides and slightly raise HDL.
So, a Mediterranean-style diet rich in fish, olive oil, and fiber-rich foods sounds like a winner.
Spot on, and let's not forget green vegetables and fruits. They're packed with fiber and plant sterols, which can also help block the absorption of cholesterol. The more colorful your plate, the better. Now, what to avoid? Foods that are high in saturated and trans fats are the biggest culprits. That means fried foods, pastries, cookies, many fast foods, red meats, especially fatty cuts, and butter. These are the things that actively raise your LDL.
So, it's about making conscious choices to swap out the blockers for the cleaners, essentially.
Absolutely. Next up, exercise. Aim for at least 150 minutes of moderate-intensity aerobic activity per week, like brisk walking, swimming, or cycling, or 75 minutes of vigorous activity. Even just a 30-minute walk most days can make a huge difference in raising your HDL and lowering LDL and triglycerides.
Consistent movement, that's the key. And you mentioned water and fiber earlier. How important are those?
Crucial. Staying well hydrated helps your body function optimally, including metabolism. And fiber, as we discussed with oats and beans, is essential for cholesterol management. Most adults don't get enough. Aim for 25 to 30 grams per day through fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and legumes.
What about weight loss and stress control, which we touched on as causes earlier?
Losing even a modest amount of weight, say 5 to 10% of your body weight, can significantly improve your cholesterol numbers. It reduces LDL and triglycerides and increases HDL. And stress control, it's often overlooked but vital. Chronic stress can impact your eating habits and your body's internal chemistry. Practices like meditation, yoga, deep breathing exercises, or simply making time for hobbies you enjoy can help manage stress and, by extension, support healthier cholesterol levels.
So it's a holistic approach encompassing diet, exercise, hydration, weight, and even mental well-being. This is all incredibly practical advice. Now, let's tie it back to why all this matters so much and talk about segment 8, the heart attack and stroke connection. Mark, can you explain simply how cholesterol buildup leads to these life-threatening events?
Of course, Jenny. Remember our LDL blocker analogy? When too much LDL cholesterol builds up in your arteries, it forms that sticky, hard plaque. Over time, this plaque makes your arteries narrow and less flexible, a process called atherosclerosis. Imagine a garden hose slowly getting clogged with mineral deposits.
Okay, the pipes are getting clogged.
Right. If this happens in the arteries that supply blood to your heart, called coronary arteries, your heart muscle won't get enough oxygen. This can cause chest pain, as we mentioned, and if a piece of that plaque breaks off, or if a blood clot forms on top of the plaque, it can completely block the artery. When that happens, the part of the heart muscle supplied by that artery dies due to lack of blood, and that's a heart attack.
So the plaque itself can be an issue, but a clot forming on top of it or a piece breaking off is what really triggers the heart attack.
Exactly. It's the sudden, complete blockage that's the danger. Now, for a stroke, it's a very similar mechanism, but it happens in the arteries leading to or within your brain. If plaque builds up in those arteries, they can become very narrow. If a piece of plaque breaks off or a blood clot forms and travels to your brain, it can block blood flow to a part of your brain.
And when brain cells don't get oxygen, they start to die.
Precisely. This results in a stroke, which can lead to permanent brain damage, affecting speech, movement, or other vital functions. So, high cholesterol isn't just a number, it's a direct pathway to potentially devastating cardiovascular events if left unchecked. It's literally a matter of life or death.
That really puts it into perspective, Mark. It underscores why all the information we've shared today is so crucial. So to wrap this all up in a way that our listeners can apply immediately, let's go to segment 9, simple daily habits that protect your heart. What 4 to 6 clear habits can everyone start today?
Okay, here are some actionable steps you can integrate into your routine starting now. First, make breakfast count. Aim for a bowl of oatmeal or whole grain cereal daily. That soluble fiber is your friend.
Great start. My morning routine just got a cholesterol-fighting upgrade.
Second, swap out unhealthy fats. Replace butter with olive oil, choose lean protein like chicken or fish over fatty red meats, and avoid trans fats found in processed snacks and fried foods. Read those labels.
Conscious eating, I like it.
Third, move more every single day. Even if it's just a 20 to 30-minute brisk walk during your lunch break or after dinner. Take the stairs instead of the elevator. Every bit of movement adds up and boosts that good HDL.
Consistency over intensity, especially when starting out. What's next?
Fourth, embrace plant power. Aim for at least 5 servings of fruits and vegetables a day. Add beans or lentils to your meals. These are packed with fiber and nutrients that are fantastic for your heart.
More greens, less grease. Simple. And number 5.
Fifth, hydrate wisely. Ditch sugary drinks and choose water. It supports overall health and helps your body process everything efficiently. And finally, sixth, take time for yourself. Practice stress-reducing activities like meditation, reading, or connecting with loved ones. A calm mind supports a healthy body.
Those are fantastic practical tips, Mark. A whole arsenal for a healthier heart. What an incredibly informative episode this has been.
I agree, Jenny. We've covered a lot today. From understanding what cholesterol really is, to dissecting the good and bad, uncovering causes, diagnosis, treatment, and most importantly, empowering everyone with natural ways to take charge of their heart health. It's about being proactive, not reactive.
Absolutely. And remember, knowledge is power when it comes to your health. Don't wait for symptoms, get your cholesterol checked regularly, and have that important conversation with your doctor.
Thank you so much for tuning in to the Health Awareness Podcast. We truly appreciate you joining us on this journey to better health.
If you found this episode helpful, please share it with friends and family who might benefit. And don't forget to subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts so you don't miss future episodes.
Next time on the Health Awareness Podcast, we'll be discussing another vital topic, chronic kidney disease, focusing on the early signs you must not ignore. You won't want to miss it.
From all of us here, stay healthy, stay informed, and we'll talk to you next time.